Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. You know, way back in the day, you would go to school and your friends would talk about all the cool games they were playing and games that they were trying to beat and levels that they were stuck on. And one of the coolest things I remember was hearing people talk about final bosses in video games. So when you talk to your friends and they tell you, hey, I got to this guy, or I got to the last boss and this is what he looks like, or this is what he does, you know, you would go home and just try your best to get there. And it gave me an idea for a video. So I figured, why not talk about some last bosses that were insanely hard and nearly impossible to beat? Because there was a ton for the NES. And that's what I want to talk about on today's episode. So roll that intro. Now, I do want to start out by saying, yes, I will be talking about some final bosses of 30-year-old Nintendo games. So there will be some spoilers. But, you know, the ones that I've chose for this episode, maybe not a lot of people know about. And I just thought I'd give you guys a glimpse on how hard Nintendo games were. Because nowadays, with all the collectors, they have coined a term and it's called NES Hard. And that's basically a slogan for Nintendo games, because now everybody knows how relentlessly hard they were, but you didn't know how hard they were until you played games nowadays for Xbox and Switch and things like that. They hold your hand a lot, these new games do, and have tutorials and all this other things to just, you know, get you ready for the adventure. But back in the NES days, nah, that wasn't happening. They threw your ass in there with a sword and a shield and said, have at it, good luck. You know, so I figured I'd talk about a couple bosses that really make my blood boil, and hopefully you guys get some tips and tricks on how to beat them. And these bosses aren't in any particular order, just a couple bosses that were insanely hard. So let's get into it. First, I want to start out by saying, if you actually beat Thunderbird, which is the boss, before Dark Link, you're incredible at this game. Thunderbird is relentlessly hard. So to even get to him and beat him and then get to fight Dark Link, you're a god at this game. But anyways, as you get to Dark Link, he's incredibly hard. His hitbox is so small that even things that are hitting him right in the face, they don't count as a hit. It's weird. It's like his hitbox is so small that you can hit him right in the face with a sword and it won't count. He's relentlessly difficult. His pattern is pretty simple. I mean, he just blocks everything you throw at him and counters your every move. He's like a shadow. I just find it very difficult to beat this guy. And he's one of the hardest Nintendo bosses in any Nintendo game. But there is a way to beat him incredibly easy, and I'm going to show you. But for years I didn't know this. So when I would get all the way here, I could just never defeat him. He was just too good. But if you go all the way to the left of the screen, crouch down, and just start throwing your sword out, he just runs right into it. It's unbelievable how this happens. It's like, how did I not catch this in playtesting? But that's all you got to do to defeat him. But if you didn't do this trick, I don't know many people that's beat him straight up. So if you beat Zelda 2 as a kid, legitimately, you're a god in my book. Now, the next game I want to talk about is a game called Tailspin. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is a Disney game, but don't get it twisted. This game is brutally hard. It's a side-scrolling shoot-'em-up, but you actually can turn your plane upside down and it shoots in the opposite direction. So the controls get a little getting used to. But the hardest boss in the game is definitely the last boss. This dude is insane and there's no pattern to him. Like, it looks like it when you're seeing it on screen, but you only have 3 hit points. So if he does hit you 3 times, you're dead and you can't start on him. When you die, you start at the beginning of the level. If you manage to beat him, which is already insanely hard, you have to fight his second form. It's this huge ship, and you fight your way through it, and in the back of it's this huge motor, and you have to take it out. But if you sit in this spot right here, you actually don't have to move very much. Just watch the things that are dropping on your head, and move up and down. You can destroy it pretty easily. But this game is damn hard, and one of the hardest last bosses on Nintendo. The last game I want to talk about is Rambo. Now, this game's pretty tough to beat in general, but the last boss is this huge helicopter thing. And there are so many projectiles flying at you. There's missiles coming out of the sky. There's guys that run up on the screen that you have to swap your weapon to so you can take them out and then switch back to your C4 or grenades or whatever they're called so you can throw them at the helicopter above you. There's just a million things flying at you. This is pretty damn tough. Just getting here is pretty tough. So when you do get here, if you mistakenly don't have enough of a certain ammo type, you might not be able to beat this part. But just think, all that hard work and you'd lose the game. And it seems like these missiles have like a homing effect, so they follow if you jump around or jump away from them. It's kind of crazy. But look at all this stuff on the screen. You gotta dodge bullets, missiles, everything, just to kill this damn thing. It takes a shit ton of damage, but when you do end up actually damaging enough to beat it, you think the game's over, and technically it is, but what's weird is when you do beat it, you go back into the helicopter. I love how you're like taller than the helicopter too. It's ridiculous. So you get on it and he's just like, get on the chopper, which don't make any sense because he's Sylvester Stallone and not Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then you just fly away. Anyway, that's Rambo for the NES. Well, those are just a couple Nintendo bosses that were insanely hard. Games like Adventures of Link were already relentlessly difficult in my opinion. And beating all the way to the end of the game and then you can't defeat Dark Link, it just blew my mind on how hard he was. Before people figured out the trick to beating him very easily, you had to fight him straight up. And he was not going down. And if you guys have any other memories of insanely hard NES bosses, leave them in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, keep on reminiscing, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go. And you press start.
Little Mac is on the attack.
Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Good luck.
Go.
Round one. Come on. Come on. You can do it, buddy. Come on, Mike.
All right. Come on.
You know AD, right?
I know, but nothing's happening.
All right, there you go. Now you go.